Hello, my name is Fiona, and I'm a certified teacher and a Praxis coach with Study.com. Are you planning to take the Praxis Economics test? This is test number 5911. Praxis 5911 is a multi-subject exam, and these worked solutions cover the subtopic of microeconomics, supply and demand, product market, factor markets, government policy, and regulation of markets. Let's review some of the types of questions you may encounter on the exam. Let's jump right in. Problem number 1. Which of the following statements is true about monopolies? A monopoly is characterized by a large number of firms. A monopoly has no control over price. A monopoly produces at the point where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. Or a monopoly faces a perfectly elastic demand curve. Starting here, this statement is false. A perfectly elastic demand curve implies that consumers are willing to buy any quantity of the product at a certain price, but none if the price increases even slightly. In contrast, a monopolist faces a downward sloping demand curve, indicating that the monopolist can alter the quantity sold by changing the price. Because there are no perfect substitutes for the monopolist product, the demand curve they face is not perfectly elastic. So we can eliminate that answer. Now, to the top. A monopoly is characterized by a large number of firms. This statement is false because a monopoly is defined by the presence of a single firm dominating the entire market. There are no other firms competing in the core market that the monopoly operates in. So that is incorrect. A monopoly has no control over price. This statement is also incorrect. One of the defining characteristics of a monopoly is its ability to set prices due to the lack of competition. Because there are no close substitutes for a monopolist product, the monopoly has significant control over the price it charges. So this is not the right answer. Now we have a monopoly produces at the point where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. This statement is true. To maximize profit, a monopolist will produce up to the point where the marginal cost of producing an additional unit equals the marginal revenue obtained from selling that additional unit. This principle is fundamental in microeconomic theory for profit maximization, applicable to both competitive firms and monopolies. And that is the correct answer. Problem number 2. Which of the following would be most likely to cause an increase in the equilibrium quantity of labor in a competitive labor market? Decrease in demand for labor, increase in demand for labor, increase in the supply of labor, or decrease in the supply of labor. Starting here, this would likely lead to a decrease in the equilibrium quantity of labor. A decrease in labor supply might occur due to factors like reduced population or labor force participation. This shifts the supply curve to the left, increasing wages but decreasing the quantity of labor that firms hire. So we can cross that out. Increase the supply of labor. While this increases the total number of workers willing to work at each wage level, shifting the supply curve to the right, it does not necessarily increase the equilibrium quantity of labor. In fact, it could lower the wage level, potentially leading to a surplus of labor, unemployment, if demand does not match the increased supply. Therefore, it might not lead to an increase in the equilibrium quantity employed, unless there is a corresponding increase in demand. So we can eliminate that. Now, decrease in the demand for labor. This would likely lead to a decrease in the equilibrium quantity of labor. When demand for labor decreases, firms are looking to hire fewer workers at every possible wage level, which shifts the demand curve to the left, reducing both the wage rate and the quantity of labor employed. So that is not correct either. Increase in the demand for labor. This would likely cause an increase in the equilibrium quantity of labor. An increase in demand could be due to factors such as economic expansion, higher production needs, or technological advancements that require more labor. This shifts the demand curve for labor to the right, leading to a higher equilibrium wage and a larger quantity of labor employed. And that is the correct answer. Problem number 3. In which of the following ways does a regressive tax policy impact income distribution? It has no impact on income inequality. This statement is incorrect because regressive taxes do have a significant impact on income distribution. A regressive tax takes a larger percentage of income from lower income individuals than from higher income individuals, thereby affecting the disposable income of different income groups differently and exacerbating income disparities. So we can remove that. It reduces income inequality. This statement is false. Regressive taxes by nature do the opposite of reducing income inequality, since they impose a higher relative tax burden on lower income earners compared to higher income earners. They effectively widen the income gap rather than narrowing it. So that's not correct either. It depends on the specific tax rates. While the specific impact of any tax policy can depend on the details of the rates and the base to which they are applied, the characteristic that defines a tax as regressive is that lower income individuals pay a higher proportion of their income in taxes than higher income individuals. Regardless of the specific rates, if the tax structure is regressive, it generally increases income inequality. So that's not correct either. It increases income inequality. This is the correct statement. Regressive tax policies disproportionately affect lower income groups by requiring them to pay a greater fraction of their income in taxes than wealthier individuals. This disproportionate burden can lead to greater financial strain on lower income families, reducing their ability to save and invest compared to higher income families, thereby increasing income inequality. And that is the correct answer. Problem number 4. The law of diminishing marginal utility assumes unlimited resources. This assumption is not relevant to the law of diminishing marginal utility. The law itself does not depend on the availability of resources being unlimited. It focuses on how the utility or satisfaction derived from consuming additional units of a good or service decreases as more of that good or service is consumed. So that's not the correct answer. Perfect competition. This market structure is also not a necessary assumption for the law of diminishing marginal utility. The law applies to individual consumption decisions and the subjective valuation of goods, regardless of market structure. So that's not the correct answer either. Constant income. While changes in income can affect overall consumption patterns, the law of diminishing marginal utility does not require income to be constant. It simply states that a consumer consumes more units of a particular good. The additional satisfaction from each successive unit decreases regardless of the income levels. So that is not correct either. Now we have rational consumer behavior. This is the correct assumption. The law of diminishing marginal utility assumes that consumers are rational in the sense that they aim to maximize their utility or satisfaction. Under this assumption, consumers make decisions to consume additional units of a good based on the additional utility those units provide. The principle that each additional unit of a good consumed provides less additional utility than the previous unit reflects rational decision-making based on maximizing personal satisfaction. And that is the correct answer. I trust I was able to clarify this subtopic of microeconomics, supply and demand, product market, factor markets, government policy, and regulation of markets for the Praxis Economics test, so that you now have a better understanding of the types of questions you can expect to find on the exam. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel so that with Study.com's help, you will feel confident and prepared on exam day. Bye for now.